The 48 Laws of Power was published in 1998 by Robert Greene. The book was popular among prisoners until they banned it due to its apparent inhumane information. Regardless, it has sold millions of copies worldwide. So how does Walter White use the 48 Laws of Power to become a meth overlord and manipulate everyone around him? Law 1. Never outshine your master. Ensure that those above you always feel superior. Go out of your way to make your bosses look better and feel smarter than everyone else. Walter White, at least initially, works in the shadows of others, particularly his brother-in-law Hank, who is a DEA agent. As Walt gains power in the drug trade, it becomes ever more important for him to remain cautious and not attract too much attention to himself in his regular day-to-day life. As far as everyone knows, he's a nice, docile, and quiet science teacher, or he's a wholesome car wash owner. This is one of the reasons he's able to dodge Hank for so long. Hank always had a somewhat low opinion of Walt. He didn't even believe that he was capable of doing the things that he was doing. This reminds me of the psychological concept coined by Carl Jung called the shadow. I talk about it more in my Mob Psycho 100 video. Your shadow is your unconscious, repressed self undeterred by the conformities of society that can only be awakened under specific circumstances. Walt's suppressed desire for power and dominance, while initially hidden, eventually emerges as his shadow self, literally manifesting as an alter ego in the character of Heisenberg. So essentially, Heisenberg is hiding his persona under Walt, and for a while, that's how Walt is successfully able to use the first law of power. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Always hide your true intentions. Create a smokescreen. If you keep people off balance and in the dark, they can't control your efforts. Walter initially conceals his true intentions from his family, adopting the facade of a humble teacher. Similar to the last law, Walter conceals his intentions. He does this by adopting a facade of a humble teacher. In the initial episodes, Walt is introduced as a mild-mannered, downtrodden teacher with financial hardships and a cancer diagnosis. His external persona projects vulnerability, invoking sympathy from both the audience and the characters within the show. And initially, that's exactly how he's viewed. This concealment of his true intentions is strategic, allowing him to navigate his personal life and criminal pursuits without raising suspicion. And on top of this, Walt is extremely good at covering his tracks. He has layers of backup plans and is able to think on the spot to relieve himself of guilt very well. Walter's ability to conceal his burgeoning alter ego, or shadow, Heisenberg, is a testament to his strategic use of perception. By maintaining the facade of a struggling teacher, he maneuvers through challenges presented to him by people like the law enforcement, rival drug dealers, and of course his family. The stark duality between his public persona and hidden intentions not only shields him from immediate consequences, but also allows him to exploit the expectations that others have for him. This is put to perfect display in Walt's YouTube confession video to Hank. He exploits his situation and preconceived conceptions that people have of him. If that video were to be released, even Hank knew that that video could be seen as valid to a lot of people. Law 6. Court attention at all cost. Be outrageous or create an aura of mystery. Any attention, positive or negative, is better than being ignored. Attention brings you wealth. Walt's refusal to fade into the background parallels Picasso's approach. Walt refuses to remain anonymous in the drug trade. This ultimately leads to his downfall, but it does give him a lot of power. This is what gives him leverage when negotiating with Declan. It's what gave him leverage when negotiating with Gretchen and Elliot. Walt wanted to be something as opposed to being anonymous, even if that thing was bad. Picasso too wanted to have his paintings out there, even if it was known for being unconventional in artistic expression. The decision to manufacture and distribute methylamine is, in essence, a declaration to the world, a manifestation of his refusal to fade into obscurity. The transformation into the infamous Heisenberg ensures that Walt's actions will resonate on a grand scale. It wouldn't just be another methylamine cook that died, it would be Heisenberg that died. Having your name out there doesn't just give you a legacy, but it gives you some validity and authority. In society, we implicitly think that famous people are in some way better than us, so exploiting that fact can be useful. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Make your opponent come to you. When you force others to act, you're in control. Bait them, then attack. Walt's manipulation of Jesse kept him loyal, and that's relevant here. Walt lures Jesse into his schemes, ensuring loyalty and control. This is seen in the first episodes when Walt forces Jesse to join him in his meth business, threatening to call the DEA if he doesn't comply. He does this in many other subsequent times to keep Jesse in the meth business, even when he clearly doesn't want to continue. Walt consistently deploys emotional bait to keep Jesse entangled in the meth trade. He leverages Jesse's emotional vulnerabilities, whether it be through Jane's death, or desire for parental approval, or sensitivity towards children. He uses all of this as bait to elicit the desired response. Walt's ability to discern Jesse's emotional triggers transforms him into a puppet master, pulling Jesse deeper into the web of drug trade. Law 13. Ask for help. Appeal to people's self-interest. People are more likely to help if they see something in it for themselves. You give them a compelling reason to assist you by appealing to their self-interest. Walter, facing challenges, appeals to Jesse's self-interest in maintaining their relationship. This mirrors the Athenians who strategically made alliances based on mutual self-interests. When trying to get Jesse to help him kill Gus, he poisons Brock and frames it as Gus doing it in order to get Jesse on his side. After this event, Jesse is so firmly on his side that he even goes out of his way to buy him a nice watch as a piece of jewelry for his birthday. It's a really expensive watch too, it can run you for like $10,000. I wouldn't pay $10,000 for my jewelry, which is why I would go to Forge London and use the code APOLLY for 20% off all jewelry on the Forge London website. Law 19. Do not offend the wrong person. Knowing the people around you, their power, influence, and temperament is essential information you need to know before engaging with them. Offending the wrong person can lead to severe consequences, so better to tread carefully. Walter avoids unnecessary confrontations, recognizing the potential consequences of offending the wrong person. He doesn't piss off Tuco and he's careful in how he deals with Gus. In the case of Tuco, Walt is aware of Tuco's dominance in the drug trade, and so he refrains from making unnecessary provocations. Instead, he strategically positions himself as an asset to Tuco, showcasing a keen understanding of power dynamics. By avoiding direct offense, Walt ensures that Tuco sees value in their partnership, reducing the likelihood of violent backlash. Similarly with Gus, he's tactical not to directly confront him on many occasions, and he forces himself not only to become a valuable asset to Gus, but a necessary asset to Gus after he kills Gale. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. Creating memorable, dramatic spectacles can captivate an audience and capture their attention. This makes your power and influence more pronounced and memorable. Much of Walt's character is about wanting to be recognized for his work. He doesn't want Gale to get the credit for his work. He wants to be the one people think of when they hear Master Chemist, so at the dinner table, he sows doubt in their minds. While this event certainly doesn't help Walt avoid the law, it does help him establish power, which is what we're concerned with here. Creating a spectacle can also play a role in hiding your true intentions. As Walt gains money, he uses it ostentatiously on Walt Jr., as a way to ostensibly celebrate his son. But in reality, we all know that he's just boosting his ego by being the top guy. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Mimicking others can disarm them, and also serve as a form of subtle mockery. This strategy can be used to unsettle your opponents and gain a psychological edge. I'll be talking about this law a bit differently. Instead of talking about infuriating your adversaries, I'll talk about how you can use your enemy's tactics as a form of respect to gain more power. So as we know, Walt mirrors his enemy's tactics. Gus was one of Walt's most prominent victims over the course of the show, and Gus's death scene is certainly one of the most memorable scenes in the entire series. The two tried to equally lead their divisions in the drug trade, but Gus's overbearing control became a threat to Walt. After a few failed attempts, Walt finally kills Gus at the end of Season 4 with the help of a bomb and Hector Salamanca. In Season 5, Walt was seen driving an old Volvo. This may not seem significant, but Gus similarly drove an old Volvo. Hank had even stated that cars like that allow criminals to hide in plain sight. In addition to this, Walt refused to break his act as a harmless car wash owner when Lydia came in, This is in a very similar fashion to what Gus had to do when he was running Los Pollos Hermanos and Walter was coming in. After killing Mike in Season 5, Walt started to use Mike's lingo when confronting people. Mike once threatened him to learn to take yes for an answer.
You got the job. Do yourself a favor and learn to take yes for an answer.
Walt used that exact same phrase to Lydia in Season 5.
Trust me, if you do this...
Lydia, learn to take yes for an answer.
This is how Walt gains power, and you can also use these laws to gain power. Except, of course, use them morally. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.